We're live. All right. Welcome to Hi Carlen, your favorite call-in lifestyle show about everything sex, love, relationships, and mental wellness. I'm your hostess with the mostest sass, class, and the juiciest assets. I'm Carlen Costa, a clinical sexologist and psychotherapist, and I love that you're here. Each week, I will invite you to tune in live to our Wellness Wonderland and learn some stuff about you, your relationships, and how to make your love better. Let's talk self-pleasure, let's talk infidelity, let's talk cannabis, let's talk weird sex facts, and let's talk about all of the things that you won't be able to stop sharing in your group chat. If you're watching live right now, thank you for being here. But if you want to be part of the show, this is a live call-in show. And I want you to start calling in a few minutes at 877-7-CARLEN. And I'll give you the best advice that money can buy, but for free. And if you can't get through our hotline this week, don't worry. Hang out on our Instagram at Hi Carlen or visit my website at carlencosta.com and send me some questions that I can maybe answer live on air on my feed at a later date. Thank you guys for being here. I'm so excited. Let's get this consensually sexy party started. Friends, let me ask you a question. Do you masturbate? Let me ask you an even better question. Have you had an orgasm yet today? Tonight, we are talking all about pleasure, and not just any pleasure, but solo pleasure, masturbation, and pleasure enhancement products. And a big shout out to the Love Shop, as we can see here, for sending us all of these amazing products hanging out here in our cornucopia that we have on display. I am so excited to show you guys these products and to talk about masturbation, because here's the truth. Everyone masturbates. And if you don't, then we need to talk about it, because no one loves you better than you. And that's where it starts, and that's why we're starting here too. I want to tell you guys a little bit of a story. So I remember the first time I masturbated, the first time I actually intentionally masturbated. I was 16, our teacher in school sat our entire class down and decided to have a safe sex conversation for us. That was a little weird because I went to a Catholic high school and a lot of us still didn't know exactly what to do with our bodies. It was a little bit funny. It was a little bit uncomfortable for everybody. But, you know, when I got home that night, I got in the bath. And I turned on that tub and I hung out there, and oh my goddess, my mind was blown. Orgasms, team, orgasms. That's what I'm talking about, because I felt like in that moment I had just leveled up my life in a whole new way, and it blew my mind. So maybe you can then relate to, you know, that age-old adage of like, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, I'm here to share with you a new kind of saying, a new belief to bring into your life. An orgasm a day keeps the mental health at bay. Statistically speaking, out of a university in Belgium, ejaculation for men via masturbation can take anywhere from 1 minute to 14 minutes. And for women, generally speaking, it's taking us about 8 minutes to 20 minutes to come to orgasm during sex. But when we are masturbating, that number significantly decreases to about 4.89 minutes. And this is why masturbation is so important. This is why we're talking about it today. To eliminate some of the shame, to eliminate some of the guilt, and to bring you into this powerful place of embodiment where you can relate to yourself, to your body, and to your relationships in a powerful and intentional way. So, let's talk about why masturbation is good for you, okay? Let's talk about it. And I hope that some of these conversations and the stuff that I'm sharing with you today is, I don't know, making you think about some stuff. Because in a few minutes, I'm going to ask you to call in live. And I'm going to be taking your questions all about sex, love, relationships. We can talk about masturbation. We can talk about these sex toy products. We can talk about all of those things. But let's start by learning about why masturbation is good for us. So, number one reason why masturbation is good for you is because it is the ultimate form of self-love. If you can't love yourself, how do you expect anybody else to? Well, okay, that may not necessarily be, super trauma informed. So let's take a bit of a step back, but knowing yourself, knowing your body, embodying yourself with the intentional act of self-love is about nurturing safety within ourselves so that we can best act in our best interests outside of ourselves. When we practice loving ourselves, we become increasingly confident in our relationships. So reason number 2 is you become a better captain of your ship. Everyone has a pleasure map. It's essentially the formula to getting you off, and all of our experiences influence that mapping. When we masturbate, we create a neural pathway association in our brains that tells us what does feel good and what doesn't. Knowing your map and playing with it helps you become better at communicating what you like and what you don't like with a partner. Reason number 3 why I want you to masturbate today, tomorrow, or anytime this week is that it can actually help you sleep or at least chill you out, right? Sleep deprivation has actually been associated with reduced sexual desire and arousal in women. As a result, insomnia is one of the most common sleep disorders and may actually be a risk factor for sexual dysfunction. And a lack of sleep and disrupted sleep have also been linked to poor relationships, to poor mental health, on top of also potential erectile dysfunction. Surprisingly, short-term sleep deprivation sorry, team, I lost my train of thought. My brain totally stopped. Surprisingly, short-term sleep deprivation is found to cause increased sexual arousal in women. So if you are one of those lovely people that may be feeling a little bit hornier after they've been sleeping or after they've gotten a little bit of sleep, right? There is some actual links to why that can happen. But here's a big truth bomb, okay, that may apply to many of you watching at home right now. Another sleep sex dysfunction another sleep sex dysfunction really occurs, and we see it with people who work non-standard working hours, known as shift work, right? We see actually a lot of people who worked shift work who are also experiencing more than average erectile dysfunction. So shift work can actually throw out your circadian rhythm out of alignment with the day to night schedule and help pause some of those bodily processes, okay? So just to let you know that sleep is actually really important as well for your sexual functioning. So reason number 4 is that masturbation may also help you live longer. In a study from the UK, men aged 40 to 59 reported on their frequency of orgasms. Researchers then tracked the death rate of these men for the next 10 years. What they found was those men who reported the greatest number of orgasms had a 50% lower risk of death than the men who climaxed least often. That's huge. 50% lower risk of death than the men who climax least often. Although this pattern of results held for, the causes of death, the strongest link between orgasm frequency and lower death risk occurred when considering when your health was being influenced by coronary heart disease, suggesting that orgasms are actually good for your heart. I love this, guys. I love this. Are you learning exciting stuff because I still have 2 more reasons why masturbation is good for you. And we're going to go to number 5 really quick here, okay? So, reason number 5. It gives you better sexual autonomy, especially for young people. So if you aren't talking to your kids about masturbation, let me tell you right now, you're doing it wrong. All right. According to the National Survey of Sexual Health and Behavior, 80% of males have masturbated by the age 17, as opposed to only 58% of females. And those who do are more likely to have sex and use condoms. By adulthood, those numbers rise to 92% of men and 62% of women. What this is demonstrating to us is that the earlier we start to masturbate, the stronger our sexual autonomy is, the more likely we will be practicing safer sex practices. And the better you know your body, the less likely you are going to seek comfort of someone else needing to satisfy, needing to groom you or teach you how to use it. Knowing your body gives you sexual self-confidence, and confidence is always a big love benefit here in our house. Reason number 6. Masturbation may help you relieve headaches and menstrual cramps. I know, this is actually really huge, okay? You can masturbate the menstrual cramps away. I know. I've been doing this for years, so I have to tell you, I have to share this with you. According to Planned Parenthood, masturbation is an effective way to relieve menstrual cramps and muscle tension, and it's called menstruation. I love that word, menstruation. The release of endorphins act as a natural painkiller. In 1985, Dr. Beverly Whipple and Professor Barry Kumarasak, I am so sorry that I butchered that name, but found in their study that when self-stimulating the clitoris, women's pain tolerance increased by 40%. Team, when the stimulation resulted in orgasm, the tolerance increased to 74%. There is a system in which the brain can send serotonin and norepinephrine into the spinal cord to blast brain signals throughout your body. It is this system that is activated during orgasm and is also suspected to be activated during pain responses as well. This is where the connection to pain and pleasure in our brains is born. While this is not a one-size-fits-all solution, there are some people for whom sexual activity, particularly orgasm, relieves or may actually cause headache pain. Sex headaches are a real thing, but if you want to talk about it and you want to ask me about it, then you're going to have to call in and ask the question live online. Okay, guys, that's what we're going to do here. But ask me about sex headaches because this is a real thing. We talk a lot about how sex and orgasms can increase our ability to experience pain. Like I said, up to 74% with an orgasm. But sex headaches can also happen. All right, our next reason for why you need to masturbate today is masturbation is the ultimate form of safe sex. No one is getting pregnant from masturbation, okay? However, a warning here, I gotta give you this warning, is that if you are using pleasure products to have sex with, cleaning your toys or use with a toy cleaner or warm water and soap before and after use, especially if you are sharing your products with partners, will help prevent bacteria or STI transmissions. And the final reason why you need to be masturbating today is that you can actually teach yourself and or program your brain to be turned on by specific faces or stimuli. Okay, this is really, really interesting and really important science, okay? Remember, orgasms program your brain and instruct it to know what is a turn on for you. So when we're masturbating, our perception of what is sexually attractive and desirable changes. In fact, research has found that heightened sexual arousal achieved through masturbation can make almost anything and anyone seem more sexually appealing. There are some fascinating and important implications of this effect for the development of unusual sexual interests, and that could relate to why we fall in love with some people or have great sex with some people and have bad sex with some people. But a lot of it is linked to your orgasms and your masturbation. So team, I hope you're following along. I just gave you like 8 really great reasons why you need to masturbate today, okay? And you may, want to talk about it in your group chat. That's cool. That's totally cool. Oh, wait. Message your friends right now. Let them know about sex headaches. Let them know about pain tolerance. Let them know about how orgasms program your brain. All right? And while you're doing that, okay, I am sure that you have some questions that are coming up to you. You have some questions that have popped into your head. So let's open up the phone lines and see what kind of amazing questions have been cooking up in your beautiful brains while hanging out with me here tonight. So call our hotline, our Hi Carlen hotline right now at 877-7-CARLEN, CARLEN. Don't forget it, with your questions for me about everything sex, love, relationships, plant medicine, and mental wellness. I'm so excited. Let's go on the air. All right. Ready for some phone calls. Ready for you to call me and ask me your questions about everything sex, love, masturbation. I want to talk about these toys with you. I want to talk about your love lives. I want to talk about the things that turn you on. So get on the call, get on the phone right now, 877-7-CARLEN, and let's chat. Let's hang out. Let's talk. Let's do the things. And let's create some more good vibes in this place. This is so fun. We're hanging out and waiting for our calls. I bet you have a question. I bet you have a question for me to ask about the sex headaches. Guys, that was really huge. To ask about pain tolerance, like we talked about how orgasms increase your pain tolerance by 40%. And masturbation. And when you come to orgasm, that increases by 74%. Guys, why haven't you masturbated yet today? Why haven't you had an orgasm yet today? Right? Like, hello, do you see this glow? I had a couple, just saying. Just saying. Let's take some calls. 877-7-CARLEN with your questions for me about everything sex, love, relationships, plant medicine, and mental wellness. But while we wait, I want to give another big thank you to the Love Shop for their cornucopia of gifts tonight. And after a few calls, maybe we'll go into this, or we can start a little bit right now and talking about what is going on here with this setup. Guys, this is pretty fun. Like, let me tell you, this is really, really fun right now. Thank you to the Love Shop for all of these gifts, for all of these products here that really demonstrate the breadth and the shifts and also the beginner side to what sex toys and pleasure can look like in your life. So the only good vibes I'm messaging here for today are these ones. And I bet you some of you have some questions about these vibrators. I bet you some of you have some questions about masturbation. I bet you, because this is a question that I get asked a lot, and I would love for someone to call. You don't have to use your real name. It's totally fine. But I would love for somebody to call and ask me about masturbation in their relationship. Because one of the things that I know a lot of my patients, or a couple of my patients have actually talked to me about, has been, is masturbation cheating? Or is masturbation bad for my relationships. But I'm not going to give you the advice unless someone asks me about it. I'm just saying.
Hi, Carlen.
Oh, hi. Oh, we have a call. Hi, caller 1. You are live on the air. Hi.
When you first started the show, you were talking about going to Catholic school. I went to Catholic school too, so I was just curious. How did you get over the stigma or the teachings of the Catholic school with masturbation? And you talked about shame and the feeling of shame. So how did you work through that?
Totally. Thank you for that question. And I think that's a question that a lot of people can relate to, right? If you went to Catholic schools or if you were brought up in a heavily religious influenced household, right? Did you wear a kilt, caller?
Yeah.
Amazing. Sorry, what's your name, caller? Oh, I don't know if she can hear me. Can she hear me, producer?
Yes.
Katie.
All right, there we go. I was like, okay, we had a little bit of a lag there, team. First episode. We're working through the tech. Thank you, guys. Katie, okay. So, Katie, you went to a Catholic school, and you were mentioning that, you felt a lot of shame or a lot of guilt about sex, right? How do you feel about sex now?
Now that I'm an adult, much better, but I did feel like there had to be some unraveling of the stigma attached to it because I went to a Catholic school and went to Catholic church and was brought up Catholic.
Yeah.
So it took me a long time to get over that shameful feeling.
Yeah, and right? It's part of it. There's this big thing in the Catholic school about understanding your relationship with religion, your relationship with your body, and when you have a lot of men making rules for women, it feels a little bit out of sorts. So how did I get into it? Well, one of the things that I had to do was actually start to own and learn my relationship with myself, and then with that intersection with spirituality and whatever that ended up looking like for me. Okay, so a part of that was about unlearning and unraveling and coming back into the embodiment of the woman that I want to choose to become versus the woman that was influenced by many of my experiences growing up, right? Sometimes what we have to do is take a minute, take a step back from all of the influences, whether they were in our household, in our school, in Bible study, right? And understanding that they can all coexist. So you can be a spiritual, religious, happy person and also have a really great sex life. God wants you to masturbate. God wants you to have an orgasm. That's why God created the clitoris, which is the primary source of pleasure in our bodies and its only function. What do you think about that, Katie?
I think that's great. Do you recommend any books?
Ooh, some books to kind of work out of that. Let me think on that for a second, because there's some amazing authors out there who are talking about this stuff. Let me see. I'll have to post some books, actually, to be honest with you, because there are some books that are really great about coming through, but instead of looking about stepping away from your religion, I would look at it and look at books that talk more about your embodiment and talk more about self-love. And then for you, what you can do is design your pleasure map and design your relationship with yourself in a whole new way. So there's some really great authors, some really great speakers out there, like Esther Perel is really fantastic. The late Betty Dodson is amazing for some of the stuff, okay? And they write some incredible things about how, especially women, because that's who's calling me right now, right, can start to embody their bodies and take their pleasure back into their own hands. Any other questions, caller?
No, that's great.
You're amazing, Katie. Thank you so much for calling. All right, team. 877-7-Carlen. Ask me all of your questions about everything sex, love, relationships, and mental wellness. I'm a clinical sexologist and psychotherapist, and I am here to answer your deep burning, desiring, fire burning, heart burning questions in your loins. While we're waiting for some callers, and I'm just going to let my producer just like bring a caller through, I'm going to move on to talking about this here, talking about the cornucopia. But if you have a question, feel free to just jump on the line and give us a call. Oh, I think we have a call. I think we do. Do we have a call coming through? Did I hear that proper? Yes, amazing. All right, caller 2, you're live.
Hi, Carlen.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
It's
Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie. What's up? How are you doing?
Hi, girl. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
First of all, you're doing amazing.
Thank you. You know, not a little nervous at all.
Beautiful as always. I'm like all the compliments out. I do suffer from headaches quite a bit.
Okay.
And so hearing about the sex headaches and stuff like that,
yeah,
I would love to know more.
Okay. So I'm really glad that you asked about sex headaches, Stephanie. Now let me ask you, do you experience sex headaches every time you come to orgasm? Is it frequent or infrequent?
It's infrequent, but then also sometimes I get like lightheaded where I can feel that a headache is coming. So it's not completely, doesn't happen immediately following. Sometimes it does happen a bit after.
Yeah.
And I never realized that this was a thing until you just brought it up.
Right? It's an interesting thing. It's totally an interesting thing. So sex headaches are pretty neat. And hold on one second here. I'm just going to pull up, because I pulled up some stats specifically for this. So I just want to make sure that I'm referencing this information properly. Okay. So sex headaches. I actually have a couple patients that experience this. I experienced one of these for the first time last week. So I feel you, Stephanie. So they're really annoying. So a sex headache is actually a benign sex headache, also known as a coital headache. The doctors at the hospital will call it a postcoital headache, right? I call it an orgasm headache. The doctor gave me a funny look. It was pretty fun. But it's this sudden, intense pain near the moment of orgasm or throughout orgasm. And the pain actually can usually last anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. Okay, although some people can report that the pain can last several hours or up to a few days. I had one that lasted, the one that I had, it lasted 3 days. And it was pretty intense. Have you ever experienced that, Stephanie?
Not that long. Like
Okay.
I said, maybe it's just like it's like a dull feeling, and then I
Okay.
do feel it intensify a little bit, and then it
Okay.
does go away within like 20 to 30 minutes. It's gone.
Oh, okay, amazing. So there's not an exact cause, which is really weird, right? When people are studying headaches and like specifically sex headaches, they don't actually say that there is an exact cause, but what they are kind of theorizing and thinking is that sex headaches are brought on by exertion. So big exertion, such as the exercise of doing the actual sex, right? Joggers, people who run will experience a headache from their exertion, right? So this dull type of headache is actually due to the muscle contraction in your head and in your neck from the excitement, similar to like a tension headache. So many people can relate to a tension headache, right? And this explosive, right? This explosive type of headache, they're thought to be brought about by changes in your blood vessels, in the blood vessel regulation, because of the dilation. So similar to like a migraine headache. Stephanie, let me ask you, do you get migraines?
I do, yeah. I experience all types of headaches, so I just attributed to that. But now knowing that there's actually, this is a real thing,
Yeah.
like opened up my world.
Yeah, absolutely a real thing, right? So unfortunately, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news for you, Stephanie, but many people who suffer from migraine headaches frequently may also suffer from sex headaches frequently or infrequently as well. So I have a couple tips for you though, Stephanie. Okay, are you ready for it? Because I want to make
I'm all ears.
I want to make this better for you. So one of the first things that you can do is maybe take a less active role if you're feeling the sex headaches start to come on, right? So instead of trying to achieve orgasm while you're having sex, take a bit of a step back and just try to be in the pleasure of it, in the sex of it. And if an orgasm results, then what that actually may help, or how that may help you, is that there may be more foreplay. So not only is it about taking a bit of a less active role, but also prolonging foreplay so that your body can catch up to the dilation of your blood vessels in your body. Right, Stephanie, I wonder, and you can answer this or not, but one of the things that you may be experiencing is that you're forcing your orgasm too quickly. You're just trying to get it done. Right? Relatable, maybe?
Yeah. Again, it's like uncovering. It's like we're doing a therapy session here too, right, Carlen? It is uncovering a lot, because now thinking about it too, it does tend to happen when we just kind of go right into it, and there is no like foreplay, because sometimes you're just hot and you gotta go. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, I get it. Sometimes you just got to get an orgasm out in a minute and like move on with your day. I totally understand that. But one of the reasons why you may be having sex headaches, or if you are already experiencing some of those migraines or some of those migraine symptoms because of the weather, just because of stress, because of, just your life in general, I would like to ask you to maybe slow down your sex then and start to prolong some of the foreplay instead of trying to jump and achieve that orgasm so quickly. Another thing that you can also do if you are feeling kind of headachy during the day is take some Tylenol, take some Advil. Tylenol is actually more recommended for this. And take some Tylenol or prescription medications before you have sex. And if you can do that, then that can also help your body kind of slow down the headache and relieve some of the tension and the pain that you may be feeling.
Okay, I love that.
Yay! Thank you so much. Any other questions for me?
Thank you, Carlen.
Yeah, I love
it. Well, all good. Again, you're doing amazing. So,
yay, first
very
episode.
Informative. Yay!
Thank you for being here. All right, I love that, team. Guys, this is it. This is what we're doing here. We're calling, we're having fun, we're talking about sex, love, relationships, and your mental wellness. We're going to wrap up in about, 15 minutes, friends. So if you have a call, if you have a question for me, get on the phone right now. 877-7-Carlen, and ask me anything. It doesn't have to be about masturbation. It doesn't have to be about sex toys, but I love it if it is also. And if any of you are curious about some of these sex toys, let me talk to you a little bit about some of these sex toys while we're waiting for our next caller to jump on the air. So feel free to call in at any time. All right? So, do you have a sex toy? Okay, if you are looking to buy a sex toy, or if you're looking to even just browse a sex toy, I highly recommend heading to theloveshop.ca, enter in promo code Carlen Costa, CarlenCosta, and get 15% off of your purchase. Okay, so that's just like my little gift to you. If you head over to theloveshop.ca, enter code Carlen Costa, because sex toys are fun, friends, right? They're adult toys. They're meant for us to have a great time with, to feel pleasure with, right? But I want to ask you a question. What sex toy do you think is the most popular sex toy? Right? What do you think is the most popular sex toy? Because I bet you may or may not know the answer to that question. All right? Think about it. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for you to think about it. Okay, so the most popular sex toy is the wand. I know, it's pretty neat. This toy, this style of toy, it usually looks somewhat like this. Sometimes it's a curve, sometimes it's straight down, but it has this like big bulb head on the top here. And sex experts, therapists alike, we recommend this toy for many different reasons. And one of the reasons is because not only does it come in different sizes, but it also comes with different speeds, and sometimes you can also get different attachments that can help you have different experiences and achieve and optimize your orgasm to a whole new level. One second, team. I'm going to cough really quick. All right. And we're back. All right. So this style of sex toy is actually the most popular and the most purchased in the world. But many of you, when I asked that question, what is the most popular sex toy, probably thought of this. And this is a pearl rabbit. Okay, really interesting. The reason why it's called a pearl rabbit is because there's pearls that move around and feel really good to the opening of your vulva, and also it has this little bunny vibrator here with the little ears, right? That is meant to stimulate your clitoris, and this is meant to stimulate your vulva opening. All right, really, really fun. This toy was made popular in Sex and the City, The Rabbit and the Hare. Everybody knows about the rabbit. And even though it may not be the most purchased sex toy in the world, it is definitely one of the most colloquially known as being the most popular. All right. This toy was actually invented in the 80s by a company called Vibratex. And it has been going off ever since, which is pretty neat, right, guys? This is pretty neat here. But if you're looking to buy a new sex toy, if you are looking to discover, explore, or expand your sexual preferences, if you are looking to achieve stronger, more intense, or blended orgasms, if you are looking to treat your medical or any medical issues or erectile dysfunction, or even in some points, in some ways, trauma, right? Or even just revolutionize and optimize your sexual happiness, then you might want to look into getting a sex toy. Because here is a really fun fact that I totally want to share with you guys. That sex toys, so the vibrator was actually the 5th electric device approved for home use, after the sewing machine, the fan, the tea kettle, and the toaster, team. Okay, so in other words, people had vibrators in their homes before they had television sets and vacuums. It's not fascinating? I think that was just such a cool and interesting thing for us to know. So people have been using vibrators or sex toys or penetrative devices since the dawn of time, let me tell you. And I want to share this other really interesting stat, because sex toys, not only now, as you see, they're different colors, they're different materials, they go in your different holes in a whole bunch of different ways, and it's really, really fun. But sex toys were actually first popularized as therapeutic devices. They kind of looked a lot like this, which is why this style of sex toy is so popular, but was popularized as a therapeutic device with doctors who would use it on female patients to treat hysteria. Isn't that so interesting? Okay, so let me break this down to you. So at one point in time, hysteria was one of the more common medical disorders diagnosed in women. Although we've long debunked hysteria and that being a medical condition at all, hysteria symptoms, when we did classify it, included things like nervousness, insomnia, a loss of appetite for sex with one's husband, or a tendency to cause trouble for others. Essentially, if you were a bad bitch, you had hysteria and you needed to go see your doctor about it. So, but here's the best part about where I'm heading with this, is that for many years, the primary treatment for hysteria, aka the treatment for your shitty sex life, was a pelvic massage that culminated into what they would call hysterical paroxysm. All right, we got a call coming through. Let's take that, and then we'll come back to how doctors treated your orgasms with sex toys. Caller 3, you're live on the air. What's up? Hi. Hi. Oh, they hung up. All right, friends, if you are the person that hung up, feel free to call again, 8777-Carlen. Let's get back to talking about hysterical paroxysm, okay? So hysterical paroxysm, which was really just a fancy way of saying your doctor's about to give you an orgasm. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. It's so much fun, though, right? Like, it's so much fun. So essentially what these doctors were doing, or like scamming people out of, what they were doing was they were giving these women orgasms that their husbands were not, but then the husbands would be paying for the orgasm to happen. It's a brilliant business model. Like, I kind of want to bring it back today. It does happen. It's called a sex club. But it's so interesting and fascinating how far we have come in terms of talking about sex, talking about pleasure, and introducing sex toys. Because if you're a beginner to the sex toy industry, if you are beginning to understanding what kind of sex toy you are looking to purchase, I highly recommend looking at things like vibrators or dildos or anal plugs or anal beads. And this is kind of like the beginner package right here, okay? Maybe this is a little intense for a beginner, but let's start here. So a vibrator is great for beginners, and because they can be enjoyed by all bodies, all genders, all of these sex toys can be enjoyed by everybody. You just gotta have a hole to put them in, okay? So because this toy is classic, right? It is can come with different attachments. You can look at different speeds. I highly recommend buying a rechargeable one, because nobody wants to be running out in the middle of your arousal looking for the remote control, trying to fish out the batteries, right? And then get back into bed before you lose your momentum, right? So rechargeable sex toys are so hot right now, eco-sexy. Many of them are waterproof, and this is a great place to start because clitoral stimulation is so important to achieve climax. And if you really want to kick that up a notch, then I also highly recommend using a cannabis lube, either CBD or THC, pre-applying that lubricant and then going crazy with a little sex toy. Oh, babe, trust me, you're going to be calling me next week and like thanking me for this advice, all right? Then you want to move on to things like dildos potentially, which are really, really amazing insertable sex toys. They're pretty straightforward, you know, like they don't really do a lot other than they just feel really, really fantastic. And they're really ideal because people love them to help fulfill their delicious fantasies. Also, there's no charge required. They're pretty, you know, well for when you are good to go, right? Like this is like an on-demand sex toy that you don't have to work at or fix or charge or do any of that stuff. But if you want to kick it up a notch, right, and you want to look at the other spectrum of sex toys, right, well, then toss your salad and take a seat because we need to talk about butt plugs. This is a vibrating butt plug. There's a little vibrating bullet that can actually go in here. And these are anal beads. And when we're talking about butt plugs, what you really want to remember is that there is a flared base or a handle Because if you put this inside of your body, inside of your butt or your pussy, because it has a flared base, you're going to be able to pull it out, especially if it's in your vagina, okay? You're going to be able to pull it out. Your pussy's like a Polly Pocket. Nothing is getting lost in there. You just kind of got to go fishing for stuff. But when you put these things in your butt is like a little vacuum, and it like sucks everything up, and things can get lost in there, okay? Ask your friends who are nurses. Ask your friends who are nurses about the things that they see that people put inside of their butts. All right, friends? So again, if you are looking to buy some new sex toys, to check these out, just like this little rose here, which I am so excited. These little rose and these little sucker toys are the best. Check out loveshop.ca. Enter my code Carlen Costa to get 15% off of your purchase. And a big thank you again to the Love Shop for all of these amazing products and prizes. Well, my sexy friends, my lovers, my babes, my goddesses, my kings, thank you so much for being here today. I hope you learned some stuff. I hope this enticed you or inspired you to be a little sexy, to have an orgasm today, even just to masturbate and just to feel good for you. I am so happy that you are here today. And just a reminder that this live call-in show is going to be live every Sunday for the next few weeks. Big thank you to my production team at Cannabis.wiki. I love you guys, but for you at home, I love you, and thank you for being here. So do me a favor, get your hearts up. You know how we roll. You know how we roll it here at the Everyday Goddess. Get your hearts up. I love you. I love you. I love you so hard, and I'll see you next week.